Well, Bank of America, the largest U.S. lender, reached an agreement with Fidelity National Financial to cover the title insurer's costs in the event of an error in the bank's processing of foreclosure documents. This has been all part of this halt in foreclosures because there's been questions about whether or not they've been done properly. Joining us this morning over the phone from Santa Barbara is Peter Sadowski. He's the Executive Vice President and Chief Legal Officer for Fidelity National Financial Corporation, and that is the largest U.S. title insurer. Peter, nice for you to join us on the phone. And, coming off of this news about Bank of America essentially saying that we're going to take responsibility if there was anything that has gone awry in the foreclosure processes, do you expect, though, that you actually have to call Bank of America out on any of these foreclosures? Or is it really just down to what our prior guest said, which is that it's just a paperwork error that we're seeing?
Well, yes, Betty, we believe that really this is a situation that is not going to affect us. It is so highly unlikely that consumers who purchase these homes from foreclosure will be kicked out of their houses because of the problems that we've been reading about in the paper. You have a situation where they've moved in, they have a new life, they probably invested money in the new homes, and we just can't foresee a situation. And if one happens, it truly will be a unique situation where the court will say, no, we're going to kick these people out and put back the individuals they actually were not paying their mortgages.
Right. But Paul Miller at FBR, who's the person we interviewed earlier, said that there isn't one single case so far from this foreclosure problem where somebody who was behind in their payments were actually kicked out of their homes. That there hasn't been a case like that. I mean, is that right?
I haven't seen one. We haven't come across one either. I've read about one in the paper, and I think those cases probably will make the papers. The problems that are occurring are those where the process of foreclosure takes place in court. And so it is a lengthy process, and it is just very unlikely that someone who actually paid on the mortgage wouldn't come in and say, hey, why are you foreclosing on me?
But then, Peter, then why, if it's so unlikely, why are you negotiating with Bank of America for them to take the responsibility? You must be concerned about something.
We actually were not negotiating with them. Bank of America approached us and wanted to make sure that we will be standing by them and ready to fulfill their orders once they restart the foreclosure process, and they wanted to make sure that we will not create any impediments to them. And as a result, they gave us this agreement. You
mean that you wouldn't, so that you would not, in the future, not agree to insure the titles that they're processing, basically, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
And in effect, the agreement with Bank of America is what is already set out in our title insurance policies, where people who do make mistakes that cause us problems or cause our insured's problems have to ultimately be responsible for that.
Okay. So are you going to iron out similar agreements with J.P. Morgan or GMAC, which is Ally, which is their unit? Are you ironing out those similar agreements, or not until they approach you?
Well, we have been talking to a few of the lenders, but really our Land Title Association is the one that has been in discussions with Fannie and Freddie to see what they want to see from us. And our position is that as long as we do our work and the lenders restart the resale of these foreclosed properties, we will be there to assist in the transaction.
Okay, but ultimately, what are the title insurers responsible for then?
Well, a title insurer absolutely is responsible to our consumers, to those who bought our property, when there's a claim made that they do not own it or that someone else has an interest in it.
Okay.
That's why people buy the policies. And I want to make sure everybody understands, and our insureds understand, that we're there to stand behind them if they ever have an issue.
Well, stand behind them meaning that you'll pay the cost of the loan, essentially, right? If that ever happened.
To stay behind them means to fulfill our obligations under the terms of the policy and make sure that they are fully protected.
Okay. All right, Peter, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. Peter Sadowski from Fidelity, which is one of the big title insurance companies, Fidelity National.